What if I told you that offering to help someone carry their groceries could improve your English more than studying grammar for an hour? What if a simple, "Can I help you?" could open doors to friendships, opportunities, and natural fluency? Welcome to Artificial Fluency. I'm your teacher, and for the next 60 minutes, we're going on a journey through everyday kindness, learning English the way it's actually spoken, in real moments of human connection. Today's lesson is special. We'll follow several characters through their day, learning the phrases they use, the connections they make, and discovering how small acts of kindness create big opportunities for practicing English naturally. Let me start with a story that changed how I think about language learning. Last week, I saw an elderly man struggling with heavy shopping bags at the bus stop. A young woman approached and simply said, "Can I give you a hand with those?" That's it. 6 simple words. But those 6 words led to a 20-minute conversation about his grandchildren, her studies, the best local bakery, and life advice that made them both smile. That's what we're learning today. Not just English, but the English that connects hearts. Let's begin with our first character, Natasha. She's at the local market, and something's about to happen that will teach us our first essential phrases. It's Saturday morning at the community market. Natasha is buying vegetables when she notices an older gentleman, Daniel, struggling with a heavy bag of rice. Listen to their conversation. "Excuse me, can I help you with that? It looks really heavy." "Oh, that's very kind of you. My back isn't what it used to be." "No problem at all. Where are you taking it?" "Just to my car over there. Thank you so much, dear." Let's break down these essential helping phrases. Can I help you with that? This is the most versatile helping phrase. Use that when pointing to something specific. Always add with that, not just "can I help you," when offering physical help. "That's very kind of you." Accepting help gracefully. Note, kind of you, not kind from you. This shows appreciation while accepting. No problem at all. Making someone feel comfortable. Better than just okay. This shows you're happy to help. Are you already learning useful phrases? If this natural approach to English is working for you, please hit that like button and subscribe. Comment below. When was the last time someone helped you with something? Now, as Natasha helps Daniel, he shares some wisdom. "You know, young lady, I've lived here 40 years. Want to know what I've learned?" "I'd love to hear." "Everyone carries something heavy, even if you can't see it. A little kindness goes a long way." That's beautiful. I'll remember that. Key phrase: a little kindness goes a long way. Means Small actions have big impacts. Similar phrases. Small acts make big differences. Every bit helps. Little things matter. Grammar note. Goes a long way is an idiom. Don't say goes long way. The article a is necessary. Now let's meet Emma. It's raining, and she's at the bus stop when she notices a mother struggling with shopping bags and a crying baby. Emma says, "Would you like to share my umbrella? You're getting soaked." The mother, Sarah, says, "Oh my goodness, yes, please. This weather came out of nowhere." Emma says, "Here, let me hold it so you can comfort your baby. Poor little one." Sarah says, "You're a lifesaver. I'm Sarah, by the way." Emma says, "Emma, nice to meet you. Is this your first baby?" Sarah says, "Yes, and I'm still figuring everything out. Some days are harder than others." Emma says, "You're doing great. It must be challenging." Vocabulary for offering help in different situations. Would you like to? Polite offer. More formal than do you want to. Good for strangers. Let me. Taking initiative. Let me help you. Let me get that for you. Let me carry one of those. You're a lifesaver. Expressing deep gratitude. Very informal and warm. Shows the help was really needed. Common mistake. Don't say, "You save my life," for small helps. Use, "You're a lifesaver," or "You saved me." The conversation continues. Emma says, "Actually, there's a great parents group that meets at the community center. Would you be interested?" Sarah says, "Really? That sounds wonderful. I don't know many people here yet." Emma says, "Perfect. They meet Tuesday mornings. I can introduce you to the organizer if you'd like." Sarah says, "I'd really appreciate that. Sometimes a kind word from a stranger makes the whole day feel lighter." Phrases for making connections. Would you be interested in? Suggesting opportunities. I can introduce you to. Offering social connection. I'd really appreciate that. Formal thank you. Our next scene is at the local bakery. Tom is buying bread when Mrs. Chen, the owner, seems overwhelmed with orders. Tom says, "Mrs. Chen, you look busy today. Can I give you a hand?" Mrs. Chen says, "Oh, Tom, that's sweet, but I couldn't ask you to work." Tom says, "You're not asking, I'm offering. I can bag these orders while you handle the register." Mrs. Chen says, "You know what? That would be incredibly helpful. Thank you." As Tom helps, other customers join the conversation. Customer 1, Helen, says, "This reminds me of my grandmother's bakery. Everyone pitched in." Tom says, "It takes a village, right?" Helen says, "Exactly. When we first moved here, the neighbors helped us unpack. I've never forgotten that kindness." Customer 2, James, says, "That's what I love about this neighborhood. People actually care." Important phrases about community. It takes a village. Everyone needs to help. Originally about raising children. Now used for any community effort. Pitch in. Everyone contributes. Everyone pitched in to help. Very informal and friendly. That's what I love about. Expressing appreciation. Natural way to share positive feelings. These real-life dialogues are the best way to learn natural English. If you're enjoying this approach, please subscribe and share with friends learning English. What makes your community special? Tell us in English in the comments. Now, let's join a deeper conversation. Victor and his colleague Mark are having lunch, discussing something many of us struggle with: balance. Victor says, "You know, Mark, I used to work 70 hours a week. I thought that was success." Mark responds with, "Used to? What changed?" Victor answers, "My daughter asked me, 'Daddy, why does your computer see you more than I do?' That hit me hard." Mark responds with, "Wow, kids have a way of showing us the truth." Victor says, "Exactly. So I started setting boundaries. No emails after 7 p.m. Weekends are family time." Mark asks, "Wasn't your boss upset?" Victor responds with, "I was worried about that. But you know what? My work actually improved. When I'm at work, I'm fully present. When I'm home, I'm fully home." Key vocabulary for work-life balance. Setting boundaries means creating limits. I set boundaries with work. I need better boundaries. Fully present means completely focused, not thinking about other things, giving full attention. That hit me hard means had strong emotional impact. Informal expression shows something made you think. Grammar structure, used to, for past habits. I used to work late, but not anymore. Don't confuse this with I'm used to, meaning I'm accustomed to. The conversation continues. Mark says, "I need to try that. My wife keeps saying we never talk anymore." Victor responds with, "Start small. Maybe have dinner together without phones?" Mark responds, "That's doable. We used to cook together. Maybe we should start again." Victor says, "Perfect. My wife and I cook together on Sundays. It's become our tradition. We talk, we laugh, we reconnect." Phrases for making suggestions. Start small means begin with easy steps. That's doable means that's possible or manageable. Maybe we should is a soft suggestion. Let's visit the community garden where Olivia and James are working on their plot while teaching their children about plants and kindness. Olivia: "Kids, look! Mrs. Brown's tomatoes are ready, but she's not here today." Child, Lucy: "Can we pick them for her?" James: "That's a great idea, Lucy. But first, what should we do?" Lucy: "Ask permission?" Olivia: "Even better. Let's text her and offer to help." James: "Can you message her?" James texts, "Hi, Mrs. Brown. We noticed your tomatoes are ready. Would you like us to harvest them for you?" Mrs. Brown replies, "That would be wonderful. I'm stuck at home with the cold." This leads to a beautiful scene. James: "Actually, kids, let's do more. We'll harvest her vegetables and drop them at her house." Lucy: "Can we make her a get well card too?" Olivia: "Beautiful idea. This is what community means, looking out for each other." Later, at Mrs. Brown's house. Oh my goodness, you didn't have to do all this. James, we wanted to. You helped us so much when we started our garden. Mrs. Brown, that was nothing. Olivia, it wasn't nothing. You taught us everything. This is the least we can do. Mrs. Brown, you know, kindness is like seeds. You plant them, and they grow in unexpected ways. Vocabulary for community support. Looking out for each other. Mutual care. The least we can do. Minimum way to help. That was nothing. Minimizing your own help. Modesty. Stuck at home. Unable to leave. Teaching moment about gerunds. Thank you for helping. Not, thank you for help. I appreciate you taking the time. Not, I appreciate you take the time. As evening comes, our characters reflect on their day. Natasha is having dinner with her roommate. Roommate. You seem happy today. Good day? Natasha. You know what? It really was. I helped an elderly man at the market, and he said something that stuck with me. Roommate. What was it? Natasha. That everyone carries something heavy. It made me think, we never know what others are going through. Roommate. That's deep. Did it change how you acted today? Natasha. Actually, yes. I smiled more at strangers. I held doors. I said thank you to the bus driver. Small things, but people seemed to appreciate it. Roommate. It's like a chain reaction. One kind act leads to another. Meanwhile, Emma is calling her mother. Emma. Mom, I met someone today who reminded me of you. Mother. Oh? How so? Emma. She was struggling with a baby and shopping in the rain. Remember when that was you with me? Mother. Ugh, those were hard days. I remember strangers helping us. Emma. Well, today I got to be that stranger for someone else. It felt full circle. Mother. That's beautiful, honey. Kindness always comes back around. Reflection vocabulary. Stuck with me. Remained in my mind. Chain reaction. One thing causing another. Full circle. Completing a cycle. Comes back around. Returns to you eventually. Now, let's make this practical for your English journey. Here's your kindness-based English practice plan. Daily kindness phrases to master. Morning. Good morning. How's your day starting? Can I help you with anything? Let me get that for you. Afternoon. Would you like to go first? Is this seat taken? That looks heavy. Need a hand? Evening. Have a wonderful evening. Thanks for your help today. Take care of yourself. Your weekly challenges. Monday. Offer help to one person. Tuesday. Start a conversation at a shop. Wednesday. Compliment someone genuinely. Thursday. Share something. Umbrella, seat, etc. Friday. Thank someone specifically. Weekend. Join a community activity. Grammar patterns we've learned. Offering help. Can I? Would you like me to? Accepting help. That would be great. I'd appreciate that. past habits. Used to plus base verb. Continuing actions. Keep plus gerund. Suggestions. How about? Maybe we should. The 3 levels of practice. Beginner. Use 1 kindness phrase daily. Intermediate. Have 1 helping conversation weekly. Advanced. Lead a community activity monthly. Remember these key points. Real English happens in real moments. Simple phrases create deep connections. Kindness opens conversational doors. Mistakes don't matter when hearts connect. Daily practice beats intensive study. Your homework assignment. Tomorrow, use 3 phrases from today. Can I help you with that? No problem at all. And have a great day. Notice how people respond. Notice how you feel. That feeling of connection, that's real fluency beginning. You know what's beautiful about learning English through kindness? Every mistake becomes a smile. Every mispronunciation becomes a connection. Every grammar error becomes a human moment. The man at the market, Daniel, was right. Everyone carries something heavy. But when we help each other carry those loads, we don't just lighten the burden, we create opportunities for conversation, for practice, for growth. Your English journey isn't just about you becoming fluent, it's about you becoming connected to your community, to strangers who become friends, to a world that's waiting to hear your voice. Thank you for spending this hour with me. You've learned more than phrases today. You've learned that fluency isn't about perfect pronunciation or flawless grammar. It's about having the courage to reach out, to offer help, to accept kindness, and to keep trying. If this lesson touched your heart and helped your English, please share it with someone who needs either encouragement in their language journey or a reminder that kindness matters. Subscribe for more lessons that teach English through real life. Comment below. What act of kindness will you do tomorrow? Write it in English. Remember, every "Can I help you?" is a lesson. Every "Thank you" is a practice. Every smile is communication. This is Artificial Fluency, reminding you that the best English classroom is anywhere 2 people connect with kindness. Your fluency journey starts with your next kind word. Make it count.
Welcome to English Listening Practice. I'm Taylor, and over the next 30 minutes, we're going to dramatically improve your ability to understand real English conversations. This episode is designed for B1 to C1 learners who want to bridge the gap between textbook English and the way native speakers actually talk. Today's episode features 5 different listening passages, each with a unique challenge. You'll hear different accents, various speeding speeds, and authentic language, including idioms, phrasal verbs, and connected speech. After each passage, I'll guide you through comprehension questions and highlight key vocabulary. Here's a pro tip. Don't worry if you don't understand everything on the first listen. Native speakers often miss things too. Focus on getting the main ideas first, then the details will come with practice. Let's warm up your ears with a quick exercise. I'll say a sentence at normal speed, then break it down. Ready? What are you going to do when you've finished? Did you catch that? Let me say it slowly. What are you, going to do, when you have finished. Notice how in natural speech, what are becomes whatter, going to becomes gonna, and you have becomes you've. This is the real English we're practicing today. Our first listening passage is a conversation between two colleagues discussing a job interview. You'll hear British and American accents mixed together. Listen for the main points. How did the interview go? What challenges did they face? What's the next step? Here we go. Marcus, American. Hey, Sophie, I've been dying to hear. How'd your interview go yesterday? Sophie, British. Oh, Marcus, it was intense, to say the least. I was there for nearly 3 hours. Marcus, American. 3 hours? That's insane. What did they have you doing? Building a rocket? Sophie, British. Laughs. Felt like it. First, there was the panel interview, 4 people firing questions at me, then a technical test, and finally a presentation I had to prepare on the spot. Marcus, American. Whoa, talk about putting you through your paces. How'd you handle the pressure? Sophie, British. The panel interview went brilliantly, actually. They asked about my experience with project management, and I used that STAR method you taught me. You know, the situation, task, action, result. They seemed really impressed when I talked about the Morrison account turnaround. Marcus, American. That's awesome. I knew that would come in handy. What about the technical test? Sophie, British. That's where things got a bit dodgy. They threw in some curveball questions about software I haven't used in years. I was honest about it, though, said I'd need to brush up, but that I'm a quick learner. Marcus, American. Honesty is always the best policy. They probably appreciated that. And the presentation? Sophie, British. They gave me 30 minutes to prepare a pitch for a hypothetical client. My hands were literally shaking, but once I got going, I found my rhythm. I even made them laugh a couple of times. Marcus, American. That's huge. Humor can really seal the deal. When will you hear back? Sophie, British. They said early next week. The waiting's gonna kill me. The head of department mentioned they're interviewing 12 people for just 2 positions. Marcus, American. 12 for 2? That's rough competition. But hey, you've got this. You're exactly what they're looking for. Sophie, British. Thanks, Marcus. Fingers crossed. If I don't get it, at least it was brilliant practice. The feedback alone was worth it. Marcus, American. That's the spirit. Want to grab coffee and debrief properly? I want to hear every detail. Sophie, British. Absolutely. Your treat if I get the job? Marcus, American, laughs. Deal. But I'm confident I'll be buying that coffee. Okay, let's check your comprehension. Think about these questions. First, how long was Sophie's interview? The answer? Nearly 3 hours. Second, what 3 components did the interview have? Answer: a panel interview, a technical test, and a presentation. Third, how many positions are available and how many people are interviewing? Answer: 2 positions, 12 candidates. Let's look at some key phrases. Dying to hear means very eager to know something. Put through your paces means to test someone's abilities thoroughly. Dodgy, British slang meaning uncertain or risky. Curveball questions, unexpected, difficult questions. Seal the deal. Finalize something successfully. Notice the connected speech. How'd your interview go? How did becomes how'd. Going to kill me. Going to becomes gonna. Now let's challenge ourselves with a news report. This features more formal language and technical vocabulary. Listen for what new technology is being discussed. What are its benefits? What concerns are raised? Good evening. Tonight, we're examining a groundbreaking development in carbon capture technology that could revolutionize our approach to climate change. Our science correspondent, Jennifer Walsh, has this special report. Thank you, Richard. I'm here at the University of Cambridge, where researchers have unveiled what they're calling a game changer in the fight against global warming. The team, led by Professor David Chen, has developed a new material that can absorb CO2 from the atmosphere at unprecedented rates. Professor Chen, what we've created is essentially a super sponge for carbon dioxide. Our metal organic framework, or MOF, can capture CO2 molecules while allowing other gases to pass through freely. What's particularly exciting is that it works at room temperature and requires minimal energy to release the captured CO2 for storage. The implications are staggering. Current carbon capture technologies are energy-intensive and expensive, limiting their widespread adoption. This new material could reduce costs by up to 75% while increasing efficiency threefold. However, not everyone's convinced. Dr. Sarah Martinez from the Environmental Policy Institute raises some concerns. Dr. Martinez, while this technology is undoubtedly impressive, we need to be cautious about viewing it as a silver bullet. There's a risk that breakthrough technologies like this could be used to justify continued fossil fuel consumption rather than addressing the root cause of emissions. We call this the moral hazard problem. The research team acknowledges these concerns, but argues that we need every tool available in our climate arsenal. Professor Chen, we're facing a climate emergency that requires both immediate emission reductions and active removal of existing atmospheric CO2. This technology doesn't replace renewable energy or conservation efforts, it complements them. We're looking at scaling up production and, if successful, we could see industrial applications within 3 to 5 years. The technology has already attracted significant investment. Tech billionaire James Morrison announced a $500 million fund specifically for carbon capture technologies, with this Cambridge team receiving the first major grant. The question now isn't whether this technology works, it clearly does. The challenge is scaling it up quickly enough to make a meaningful impact on global emissions. For BBC News, I'm Jennifer Walsh in Cambridge. Fascinating developments there. Coming up after the break, let's test your understanding. What type of material did the researchers develop? A metal organic framework, or MOF, that acts like a super sponge for CO2. What's the cost reduction potential of this technology? Up to 75% cost reduction. What concern does Dr. Martinez raise? The moral hazard problem, that this technology might justify continued fossil fuel use. Key vocabulary. Game changer, something that completely changes how something is done. Unprecedented, never seen or done before. Staggering, shocking, or amazing. Silver bullet, a simple solution to a complex problem. Moral hazard, when protection from risk encourages riskier behavior. This next passage is a customer service call with background noise, interruptions, and informal language. Listen for, what's the customer's problem? What solutions are offered? How is it resolved? Good afternoon, Tech Support Plus. This is Raj speaking. How may I assist you today? Hi there, Raj. I'm having a nightmare with my internet connection. It's been cutting in and out all week, and I work from home, so this is really affecting my livelihood. I completely understand how frustrating that must be, sir. Let me pull up your account. Can I have your account number or the phone number associated with your service? Sure, it's 555-0147. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Thompson, I can see your account here. You're on our premium fiber plan, is that correct? That's right, yeah. Premium's a bit of a joke though, considering the service lightly. I sincerely apologize for the inconvenience. I can see there have been some intermittent connectivity issues logged. Let me run a diagnostic on your line. While that's running, can you tell me when these disconnections typically occur? It's totally random. Sometimes it's fine for hours, then boom, drops out for like 10, 15 minutes. Yesterday, it happened right in the middle of a presentation to clients. I look like a complete amateur. That's absolutely unacceptable, and I'm truly sorry that happened. The diagnostic is showing some signal degradation on your line. Mr. Thompson, have you noticed any construction work in your area recently? Actually, yeah. They've been digging up the road about 2 blocks away. You think that's related? It's very possible. Construction can sometimes damage underground cables. I'm seeing here that there's a reported infrastructure issue in your area that's scheduled for repair. However, I don't want you to wait any longer. I have 2 immediate solutions for you. I'm all ears. First, I can send a technician to your property tomorrow between 2 and 4 p.m. to check your internal connections and potentially reroute your service through a different line. Second, as compensation for this inconvenience, I'd like to offer you a portable 5G hotspot free of charge until your main connection is stable. We'll also credit your account for the past week of service issues. Oh wow, I wasn't expecting that. The hotspot would be a lifesaver. Can you guarantee it'll work better than my current connection? The 5G hotspot provides a completely independent connection, so it won't be affected by the cable issues. It should give you speeds of 50 to 100 Mbps, which is perfect for video calls and regular work. I can have it couriered to you today for arrival by 6 p.m. That's actually fantastic, Raj. And the technician tomorrow? Yes, sir. They'll do a comprehensive check and have authorization to implement any fixes needed at no charge to you. You'll also receive a text an hour before they arrive. Is 2 to 4 p.m. suitable? Perfect. Raj, you've turned my whole day around. I was ready to cancel everything and switch providers. We absolutely don't want to lose you as a customer, Mr. Thompson. Your satisfaction is our priority. The hotspot will arrive today, the technician tomorrow, and you'll see a credit of $89.99 on your next bill. Is there anything else I can help you with? No, that's everything. Thanks for actually listening and solving the problem, instead of just reading from a script. It's my pleasure, sir. You'll receive an email confirmation of everything we've discussed. Have a wonderful day. Comprehension check. What's been happening with the customer's internet? Cutting in and out intermittently all week. What 2 solutions did Raj offer? A technician visit tomorrow and a free 5G hotspot delivered today. What compensation will the customer receive? An $89.99 credit on a next bill. Useful phrases. Having a nightmare. Experiencing serious problems. I'm all ears. I'm listening carefully. Turn something around. completely change a situation. Reading from a script, giving rehearsed, impersonal responses. This passage is from a university lecture on behavioral economics. It features academic vocabulary, complex ideas, and a Scottish accent. Listen for the main theory being explained and the examples used. Right then, continuing our exploration of cognitive biases, today we're examining what's arguably the most pervasive bias affecting human decision-making, the availability heuristic. Now, before we dive deep, can anyone recall what we mean by heuristic? No? Well, a heuristic is essentially a mental shortcut, a rule of thumb our brains use to make quick decisions without extensive analysis. Usually these serve us well, but sometimes they lead us astray. The availability heuristic, first identified by Tversky and Kahneman in the 1970s, describes our tendency to overestimate the likelihood of events that come easily to mind. In other words, if you can readily recall examples of something happening, you'll think it's more common than it actually is. Let me illustrate with a classic example. Which do you think causes more deaths annually in the United States? Shark attacks or falling aeroplane parts? Most people immediately say shark attacks. Why? Because shark attacks make headlines. They're dramatized in films. They're memorable and frightening. But here's the thing. Statistically, you're 30 times more likely to be killed by falling aeroplane parts. The availability heuristic has skewed your risk assessment. This bias has profound implications for how we navigate modern life. Consider how media coverage affects our perception of crime. Despite crime rates falling consistently over the past 3 decades in most developed nations, surveys show people believe crime is increasing. Why? Because every violent crime gets extensive media coverage, making these events highly available in our memory. The business world exploits this bias constantly. Insurance companies know that after highly publicized natural disasters, people overestimate the risk and purchase more coverage than statistically warranted. Marketing teams use vivid testimonials rather than statistics because personal stories are more available to our memory than abstract numbers. But here's where it gets really interesting and somewhat concerning. Social media has essentially weaponized the availability heuristic. Algorithms show us content similar to what we've previously engaged with, creating echo chambers where certain types of information become hyper-available while others virtually disappear. This doesn't just affect our shopping habits, it shapes our political views, our understanding of social issues, even our perception of what's normal or acceptable behaviour. So, how do we combat this bias? Well, awareness is the first step. Simply knowing about the availability heuristic helps you recognise when it might be influencing your judgment. Second, actively seek out base rate information, actual statistics rather than memorable anecdotes. Third, and this is crucial, diversify your information sources. If all your information comes from similar sources, you're amplifying the bias rather than correcting for it. Remember, our brains evolved for a world where immediate, memorable dangers were often the most serious threats. A rustling in the bushes that might be a predator deserved our full attention.
But in today's information-saturated world, the most available information isn't necessarily the most accurate or important.
Let's check your understanding. What is the availability heuristic? The tendency to overestimate the likelihood of events that easily come to mind. What example shows people are 30 times more at risk than they think? Falling airplane parts cause more deaths than shark attacks. How does social media amplify this bias? Algorithms create echo chambers by showing similar content repeatedly. Academic vocabulary. Pervasive. Present everywhere. Rule of thumb. Practical guideline. Lead astray. Cause to make errors. Skewed. Distorted or biased. Warranted. Justified or necessary. Echo chambers. Environments where similar views are reinforced. Our final passage is the most challenging. A casual conversation between 4 friends at a restaurant with overlapping speech, interruptions, and colloquialisms. Listen for what are they planning? What disagreement occurs? Guys, before we order, can we please sort out Lisa's birthday thing? It's in 2 weeks and we've literally done nothing. Oh shoot, that's right. Wasn't Tom supposed to? Hey, don't pin this on me. I said I'd help, not organize the whole thing. Classic Tom. Okay, let's think. What about that escape room place downtown? Lisa's always going on about wanting to try one. Ooh, that's actually perfect. She mentioned it again last week. But wait, how many people are we talking? Well, there's us 4, obviously. Then her sister, her boyfriend. Don't forget the work crowd. She's pretty tight with them now. Whoa, hold up. If we invite the work people, we're looking at like 15, maybe 20 people. Escape rooms max out at what, 8? 6, actually. I checked their website last month for my cousin's thing. So that's out then. Unless we could book multiple rooms and make it a competition. Now you're talking. That would be epic! Losing team buys drinks after. I don't know, guys. That sounds super complicated to coordinate. Plus, it's gonna cost a fortune. These places are like $40 a head. Olivia's got a point. What if we just did something low-key? Dinner somewhere nice, then drinks at that new rooftop bar. Boring. It's her 30th, not her 60th. We need to do something memorable. What about, pause for effect, surprise karaoke party? Tom, no. What? She loves karaoke. She loves doing karaoke when she's drunk with just us, not in front of her boss and colleagues. Can you imagine? Surprise! Now sing Bohemian Rhapsody in front of everyone you professionally respect. Okay, back to the drawing board. What about a weekend trip? We could do that wine tour in... Jake, be realistic. People have jobs. No one can just disappear for a weekend with 2 weeks' notice. Wait, I've got it. What about a themed party at Tom's place? His apartment's huge. We could fit everyone. Absolutely not. Last time we had a party at mine, someone put a hole in my wall and my neighbors nearly called the cops. That was one time, and technically that was Dave's fault, not ours. Guys, we're overthinking this. Lisa's pretty chill. She'd probably be happy with just... Oh my God, Lisa just texted me. She says, and I quote, "I know you idiots are planning something, Please, nothing crazy. Dinner and drinks is perfect. Well, that settles that then. How did she even know? Maybe because you've been acting super weird around her all week. I have not. Yes, you have. Final comprehension check. What occasion are they planning for? Lisa's 30th birthday. Why did they reject the escape room idea? Too many people. Rooms only hold 6. They'd have 15 to 20 guests. What did Lisa request via text? Answer: nothing crazy, just dinner and drinks. Colloquial expressions. Going on about. Talking repeatedly about something. Tight with. Close friends with. Hold up. Wait a minute. Low key. Simple, understated. Back to the drawing board. Start planning again. Pretty chill. Very relaxed. Excellent work making it through all 5 passages. Each one presented different challenges, from formal news language to overlapping casual speech. Let's wrap up with 3 essential tips for improving your listening. First, embrace ambiguity. You don't need to understand every single word to grasp the meaning. Native speakers use context to fill in gaps all the time. Second, pay attention to intonation and stress. In English, how something is said often matters as much as what is said. Rising intonation might indicate a question or uncertainty, while emphasis on certain words reveals the speaker's main point. Third, expose yourself to various accents and speaking styles. Today, you heard British, American, Indian, and Scottish accents. The more variety you experience, the more flexible your listening becomes. Your homework: choose the passage you found most difficult and listen to it 3 more times this week. First time, focus on the general meaning. Second time, try to catch specific details. Third time, shadow the speakers. Pause and repeat what they say, matching their rhythm and intonation. Remember, listening is like a muscle. It gets stronger with regular exercise. Even native speakers sometimes say, "Sorry, could you repeat that?" So be patient with yourself. Thanks for joining me for these 30 minutes of intensive listening practice. Keep challenging yourself, and remember, every conversation you hear is making you a stronger English speaker. This is Taylor signing off. Until next time, keep listening actively.
Welcome to today's transformative episode. I'm Emma, and over the next 30 minutes, we're going to explore a powerful concept that will completely change how you approach learning English. It's called the upthrust effect, and once you understand it, you'll never look at challenges the same way again. But before we dive in, I want you to try something with me. Take a deep breath. And as you exhale, release any doubts you have about your English abilities. Because today, we're going to transform those doubts into your greatest strength. Let me share a story that perfectly illustrates the upthrust effect. Imagine you're at a pool, holding a beach ball underwater. The harder you push it down, the more forcefully it wants to rise. When you finally release it, it doesn't just float, it launches into the air. This is the upthrust effect in physics, but it's also a perfect metaphor for personal growth. Every time someone doubts you, every time you face pressure or criticism about your English, you're being pushed underwater. But here's the secret. That pressure is actually storing energy for your breakthrough. The deeper you're pushed, the higher you can rise, if you know how to harness that force. Think about your English learning journey. How many times have you felt discouraged? Maybe someone laughed at your accent. Perhaps you froze during a presentation. Or maybe you've been told you're not good enough yet. Each of these moments pushed you down, but they also gave you potential energy. Energy we're going to transform today. The upthrust effect teaches us 3 crucial principles. First, resistance creates strength. Just like muscles grow from resistance training, your English skills grow stronger when challenged. Second, pressure is temporary, but the strength you gain is permanent. Third, the moment you stop resisting and start using that pressure as fuel, you become unstoppable. Let's practice this concept with a simple shadowing exercise. I'll say a powerful affirmation slowly, then at normal speed. Repeat after me, feeling the confidence build. I transform doubt into determination. Now, faster. I transform doubt into determination. Every challenge makes me stronger. Every challenge makes me stronger. Excellent! You're already applying the upthrust effect. Let's explore deeper. Now, let's talk about something that might make you uncomfortable, and that's exactly the point. True progress in English or any skill happens outside your comfort zone. But here's what most people get wrong. They think the comfort zone is a safe space. It's not. It's actually the most dangerous place for your dreams. Your comfort zone is where your English stays stagnant. It's where you stick to the same vocabulary, avoid challenging conversations, and never quite reach fluency. But just outside that zone, that's where magic happens. Let me speak slowly and clearly for our shadowing practice. Repeat each line after me. My comfort zone is not my safe zone. Growth begins where comfort ends. I choose courage over comfort. Perfect. Now, let me share a personal story. When I first started teaching English to international students, I was terrified. I stayed in my comfort zone, using simple language, avoiding complex grammar explanations, but my students weren't improving as fast as they could. One day, a student asked me a question I couldn't answer. I felt that familiar push underwater, embarrassment, doubt, inadequacy. But instead of staying down, I used the upthrust effect and said, "That's an excellent question. I don't know the answer right now, but I'll research it and we'll explore it together tomorrow." That moment of vulnerability outside my comfort zone transformed my teaching. I started embracing questions I couldn't answer, complex topics that challenged me, and you know what? My students started learning faster, and I became a better teacher. Here's the truth about your comfort zone. It's not actually comfortable. It's familiar. There's a huge difference. Familiar feels safe, but it keeps you stuck. Real comfort comes from confidence, and confidence comes from competence, and competence comes from practice outside your familiar zone. Let's practice some challenging tongue twisters to push your pronunciation comfort zone. Don't worry about perfection. Focus on progress. She sells she-shells by the seashore. Let's try it faster. She sells seashells by the seashore. Now this one. The thoughtful teacher thoroughly taught theoretical theology. Again with confidence. The thoughtful teacher thoroughly taught theoretical theology. See? You just did something uncomfortable and you survived. More than survived. You grew. Every time you push past comfort, you expand your capabilities. Think about a baby learning to walk. They fall hundreds of times. Each fall is outside their comfort zone. But they don't develop a fear of walking. They develop strength, balance, and eventually mastery. Your English journey is the same. Each mistake, each uncomfortable conversation, each challenge is not a setback. It's a setup for your comeback. Here's a truth that might surprise you. Motivation is overrated. Yes, you heard that right. Everyone talks about staying motivated to learn English, but motivation is like weather. It comes and goes. What you need is something more reliable. You need discipline. Motivation says, I'll study English when I feel like it. Discipline says, I'll study English especially when I don't feel like it. Motivation is exciting, but temporary. Discipline is boring, but permanent. And guess what? Boring wins every single time. Let's practice this concept with shadowing. Repeat after me with conviction. Discipline is my superpower. I don't need to feel ready. I need to start. Consistency beats intensity. Think about brushing your teeth. Do you wait until you're motivated to brush your teeth? Of course not. You do it because it's a disciplined habit. Your English practice needs to become the same, non-negotiable, automatic, done whether you feel like it or not. Here's the fascinating psychology behind this. When you rely on motivation, you're giving your emotions control over your progress. But emotions are unreliable CEOs. They make impulsive decisions. They're influenced by weather, sleep, what you ate for breakfast. Discipline, on the other hand, is like having a steady, reliable manager who shows up every day, rain or shine. Let me share the 2-minute rule that changed everything for my students. Instead of waiting for motivation to study for an hour, commit to just 2 minutes. That's it. 2 minutes of English practice. But here's what happens. Starting is the hardest part. Once you begin, you often continue. And even if you don't, you've maintained the disciplined habit. Let's practice building discipline right now. We'll do a rapid-fire vocabulary exercise. I'll say a word and its meaning. You repeat both. Ready? Don't think, just repeat. Perseverance. Continuing despite difficulty. Resilience. Ability to recover quickly. Tenacity. Persistent determination. Fortitude. Courage in adversity. Grit. Passion and perseverance for long-term goals. Notice how those words all relate to discipline? That's not coincidence. Success in English, or anything, requires these qualities more than talent or motivation. Here's a practical framework for building discipline in your English learning. First, make it obvious. Put your English books where you can't miss them. Set phone reminders. Change your phone's language to English. Second, make it attractive. Pair English practice with something you enjoy. Watch your favorite shows in English. Read about topics you love. Third, make it easy. Start so small you can't say no. 1 sentence, 1 word, 1 minute. Fourth, make it satisfying. Track your progress, celebrate small wins, share victories with friends. Remember, motivation gets you started, but discipline keeps you going. And the beautiful paradox? When you practice discipline, motivation often follows. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. Now let's explore one of the most powerful concepts for English mastery, getting just 1% better every day. This might sound too simple, but mathematics doesn't lie. If you improve by just 1% daily, after 1 year, you're not 365% better, you're 37 times better. That's the power of compound growth. But what does 1% better look like in English learning? It's learning 1 new word, having 1 short conversation, listening to 1 podcast segment, reading 1 paragraph. It's progress so small it feels insignificant, but so consistent it becomes unstoppable. Let's practice this concept through shadowing. Repeat after me, feeling the power of small steps. Small steps, daily taken, create extraordinary results. I don't need to be perfect, I need to be persistent. Today's 1% is tomorrow's foundation. The problem with most English learners is they try to improve 50% in 1 day, burn out, then do nothing for weeks. They're like someone trying to lose weight by exercising for 10 hours once a month. It doesn't work. But 15 minutes every day, that transforms